How you guys doing? Cheers. The name's Dan Fitch or Harlem 19, and pretty much this is another one of my personal video blogs on via Facebook. Some good juice. And this video right here is called My Childhood and Growing Up. Oh, well, what's a better title? Having a great childhood. And I'll talk about other factors related to that. Alright, I grew up, urban household, me and my mother, sisters, so forth, so on and so forth. I grew up mostly without my father, but only because of circumstances of my parents going at it. My father was always one of the more better fathers even today in the modern world. He's guided me from a religious perspective, from a streetwise perspective, and also from an in-household perspective, regardless of what side you were on as far as streetwise and religious-wise. My father's currently 59 and I'm 20. For most of my life, my dad's actually been in my life, and even though those years I wasn't with him, I've had thoughts, but then I started putting pieces together, which is, I won't get into it as deep, I won't get into that deeply, but even my mother, during her times with me alone, when it was just me and her, she raised me pretty well. And she told me, to hold my own and never let these haters and bullies get at my head mentally or from a physical perspective. And it really, the older I got, the more I took these words into heed, into knowledge, into the mind even. And it's real deep and sad because I don't, not even with my mom at this current time, and I'm working on living on my own within the next year plus. And it's real because, my mother has been through a lot, and so have I. And I'm sure everybody has their own situations with their family members, and they go through things, but man, the stuff me and my mother's been through, it's a mix of all types of different things and so on and so forth. I won't get into it, but it's like we're soldiers, we're troopers, and we didn't even go to war, to an actual war, but we're soldiers, me and my mother and other fair family members along the way. The thing with me is, since childhood, I've always been that child that loved stacking books and action figures on top of each other. I stay telling people like, nah, there's something going on. I have too much going on. I have Goosebump books. Back then it was the 90s. I was like 7, like 1996. My older sister, who's, a mother herself, had these Goosebump books and Babysitter Club books. And I used to, as a young child, love Hot Wheels, Buzz Lightyear, Wolverine, X-Men, and little McDonald toys. I used to stay getting McDonald toys from my mom. She'd take me to get a Happy Meal. I would stack the books in like a 360-degree arc and actually stack each toy on approximately each or every other book as it arced around, and I used cups to support the balance of the books. So the thing is, I knew I was going to be an extraordinary kid, and a kid built with dedication in my heart and mind, body and soul even, because I've been through surgeries, I've been through fights, been through wars, street wars at least, not actual physical wars, but still, no, physical wars, what am I saying? But not like wars from Afghanistan. That's much more deeper, but I've been through something just as deep, been through some stuff. And as I started to grow up, things started to change for me, My older sisters came in the picture. I did show jealousy, even though I'm 12 and 14 years older. But they're still babies now, and I wasn't always there. I wasn't always around them. But now that they're older, I'm giving them both tools they need. My older sister, she gave me what she could. But, me, I'm the guy who I don't consider to be the student. Nobody teaches me except God through the use of the people who teach me. and I learn on my own through that. I don't have a teacher. I have only two parents, my mother, my biological mother, my biological father, and the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who supplied me upon those two for whatever reason out of wedlock. And I'm a unique child, 20 years old now, but as a child I always was into sports and music and art and culture, and little things that we done in Harlem in elementary school back in the 1990s in New York City. Border Ed nowadays is like gone to the slums, and it's funny that I can still see my old elementary school, and it's not much change. Some of the teachers I grew up with are still there after almost 15 years. And so the thing with that is, having a good childhood is what helps you grow into a great individual as you age, a great adult, a greater person. As you gain more understanding about whatever the case may be, the things around you, the people you like socialize with. And with me, I've always been sort of a talkative guy, but nowadays I'm more smart about how I talk a lot with people, because not everybody can be trusted, and people who, the moment I feel I have a knife towards my back, I'll break the knife in half and hit you in the face. But I'm talking from a metaphorical perspective. I'm saying the moment that knife is in the air at my back, I'll reverse it counterclockwise, and you will no longer be in my life, and you will not try to harm me, because I have guidance, I have protection. Me physically, I'm 155, okay, I can scrap my hands, I can throw my hands, but at the end of the day, that's never what I represented as a child. I was always the kid with the glasses. I started wearing glasses at about 10 years old, and I was always that kid that like nobody really appreciated. That kid that really people took advantage of. That bright individual. I was the nerd, the geek. That's why if people tell me, oh, he's a nerd, I was like, I get upset, I get heated, and I'll go at it with you. I won't say physically, but I will exchange some words with you, because the terms geek, nerd, dweeb, they're words that hurt, they're words that harm. They take me back to the nightmares I faced when I was in elementary school. I had to deal with these knucklehead kids. They never physically bothered me, but they still mentally tormented me. I was such a bright kid and they tormented me. I was always the bookworm, the kid who gave my homework to other people because I cared. Because I didn't want to see other kids end up on the streets that I grew up on. Even though I wasn't out there, people I knew, their family members were out there. People I knew by face, if not always by name. And so that's why having a childhood is really important when you start off life when you're a child, pretty much. And if you're a parent, you want to definitely watch this video. I'm serious, because you want your child to have the right tools to grow as a successful individual, and at least to start them off for 18 to 21 years of their life, however long you're willing to keep them in your crib with no issues, and whatever the situation is for you to help them grow and be successful people. This way they can pass it down to your grandchildren, great-grandchildren, even as you are deceased, and the cycle will continue on. And that's what we want to do as people raising young children. So pretty much I just wanted to give that feedback, because I grew up on some hellish grounds, Harlem, Staten Island, Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, and people from Virginia, they hear about us, in New York City, and they're like, oh, they're nobody. Stuff gets crazy over it. People get busy down here. It's a lot of crimes, it's a lot of killing, it's a lot of rapes, it's a lot of murders, it's a lot of this, it's a lot of that. And you can't just say it's nothing just because you haven't visited this place. I grew up under these circumstances, and I still battle the oppression that I continue to face. And no, I'm not trying to rap, but I'm trying to have people understand where I stand and what's my place as I am currently presenting this video to you about my childhood, as well as what you as individuals can do to help other children build their own childhoods. And, you know, religious guidance is also very important, because a child that's brought up in the church is less likely to commit crimes. Even if they do commit crimes, they won't be as harsh as crimes as those who don't get not even a source, not even a piece of that religious knowledge that you can provide to them just by taking the service. Yeah, they might say it's boring, but at the end of the day, hopefully something's going to hit them in the mind and they'll start to think. And usually youth, as they age, the more knowledge you feed certain types of individuals, certain types of children, teenagers, preteens, they take it to the mind and then they use that. But hopefully they use it for a form of good. But not everyone does. But I'm speaking in that respect to give you, the viewers who are now watching this video, an understanding of what you can do to help change the world, help other youth grow, help in general, just help. That's all I ask. And pretty much my childhood has been very, very fun. You know, it was just me and my mom. I pretty much was the mother's boy, but still, sports and stuff, that fatherhood side, it was there, but then it wasn't, because my dad was, for his, not necessarily his faults or reasons, had to take a leave of absence in my life. And then when he united with me, it was more, you know, it was deeper. I was like 12, and I currently have that bond, that full controlled bond with my father. And it's sad, because a lot of these youth and even adults say my father was killed, I wasn't able to see him in time, he was a drunk, he's a drug dealer, he got killed in this borough, he got killed in this hood, this urban neighborhood, suburban area by some racists, he got killed this way. It's sickening, and it's really bothering me, because I'm a guy, I represent the children, and I represent foster care youth. I represent the women who are struggling out there, the women who get beat by men. I represent those women who struggle, is what I'm trying to get at. Though I represent those kids who need guidance, those kids who don't have their parents there. I represent the foster care youth in the systems, not only in New York City and state, but in other states, other countries. I get feedback, I record it through video, I share, I show my own feedback, my own knowledge I give to you. And I also, you know, definitely represent a lot of other teams and different things of that nature. And so the thing with me and that is, you know, having a great childhood is very important, because I personally know I am a decent individual now, 20 years old, in my 5th semester of a community college in New York City, because my mother and father kept me in school and in churches, and at least I was able to have an understanding even when my mind was sidetracked to the dark side, as I would say, or sidetracked to the opposite side of the goodness in people, or the opposite side of good in general. So, you know, you definitely want to plant those seeds inside your kid's head and let it grow and sprout like that of Jack and the Beanstalk, because if you don't, then your kids will be corrupt and end up the next criminals on America's Most Wanted, the next killers, the next murderers, or they will be done in by someone else. Circumstances change, God forbid, but I'm keeping it real with you, and I'm trying to help you understand what I understand and how harsh life can be, because, you know, there's forces out there, there's different factors out there that make life the way it is, and in order to fully understand that, you must research, study different things, open up your mind, and that's pretty much it. You know, I'm going to end this video on that. I'm Harlem 19, youth advocate, Harlemite, relationship philosopher, foster care youth, and many more. Underground rapper, and that's it. Thank you for listening and watching my video, and I'm off this clip.